What's going on? Good evening, buenas noches. We back again
Welcome.
with another episode of Let's Talk About It No Cap. I'm your guy, D Samsation, like always, with my girl Kiki with the spirits, my bro KHINO G, and
Yeah.
today we have a very, very special guest host. Her name is Miss AKUA Divine. So
Mm.
everybody, please welcome Miss AKUA Divine.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you
Today's
for
Yes,
episode is
having
gonna
indeed.
be
me.
a today's episode is gonna be a very good episode. We're gonna talk about spirits and energy. Tune in, share the video, compartan el video. Today's episode is gonna be great. We're gonna stick it more in English today. Um, Sometimes I might translate certain things in Spanish, pero we're gonna keep it in English most of the time today. So this is gonna be a very um strong episode. So if you're in tune with your spirituality, you're in tune with your soul, your inner energy, you will love to see this episode. So make sure you tune in. And no, let's start again with Miss Akua. So Miss Akua, um, how long have you been involved with the business of being a spiritist? Or como le dicen, some people call it spiritualidad.
That's a great question. As far as the business of spirituality, it's been about 8 years.
Oh wow.
Um, and as far as my journey, my spiritual journey, it's actually been, I can honestly say, 20 years.
Wow, wow, like wow, that's
Impressive.
That's
and,
impressive.
and, and,
Interesting.
and when you first found out about it, like when you first like felt like you were born like gifted, like what was like one of your first signs that you felt like like this was like one of your life purposes?
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a great question. Well, I will start by saying that as I was growing, my mom used to tell me stories of when I was little. And she said that I always used to know who was on the phone. I would know who was at the door. And I would have basically prophetic dreams as a child. So that was my first inclination. But of course, I guess she was telling me those stories when I was a teenager. And a lot of it I didn't necessarily remember. But so yeah, that's how it started. I've been into like oracle cards and tarot cards since I was like 18. So I guess it was just always a natural progression for me to do what I do now. And also my great grandmother, she used to actually see spirits.
No
You
way.
Oh
know, yeah,
wow.
she used to see them like literally walking around in the 3D. So I'm sure, some of my gifts are passed down. Um,
Hmm.
and so that's how it kind of began.
And when you first became open about this, like were you afraid to tell people about it? Were you afraid to like publicly talk about it?
Um, I wouldn't say that I was afraid, but I always kind of monitored, I would say, the things that I said, depending on who I was around. Because all of these are spiritual practices, or many of them are demonized. People feel like they're
Hmm.
evil, they're of the devil. It's voodoo. Even though voodoo is a traditional religion, people view these things in a negative aspect. So when I was younger, definitely, I would monitor the things that I would say and do, because I grew up Catholic. My mother is Panamanian.
Hey.
Um, so she came over here when she was 7, but I was raised in the Catholic church, and my father is American, and so when I was with his side of the family, I was in the Baptist church.
Ah.
Wow.
Mm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
That's a very interesting upbringing. Honestly, like
Mhm.
you were being brought up in the Catholic Church and then switched to like Baptist, pretty much.
Mhm. Well,
And how,
it was like both simultaneously because my mother and father they split when I was very young. So, I grew up in both aspects of the church at the same time.
Oh wow.
so like I know like in most religions or in most cultures, when you basically are part of a church, most of the time they don't respect or they don't acknowledge the spiritual side of things.
Mhm.
Like historically, for instance, uh, Catholic Church or the Catholic entity, came into the Americas, indoctrinated the Native Americans and or anybody that was already present here, and kind of in a way took away their own like spiritual beliefs and turned them into Catholic, uh, people. So like, how were you able to find that balance between, being spiritually inclined and also being able to be part of the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church?
Well, I was in the church probably up until like consistently, I would say up until maybe around 16. So, um it was always natural for me to be, into spirituality. So, even when I was in the church, I would always be like, some of this is not making sense. I'm looking at the archbishops and I'm looking at these men and it didn't always resonate. But thankfully, as I got older, I want to say about 18, 19, because of where I am, Colombia actually is a very like I don't know what it is. It's like a vortex for spirituality. So we had
Wow.
all these spiritual stores around. And I was fortunate at a young age to meet teachers, spiritual teachers that kind of helped me along my journey.
Okay. Like when I was over there, like in the summertime last year, and where does the Isoli live, bro?
South Carolina.
Yeah, but like which part of South Carolina?
Columbia, South Carolina.
Colombia. So like when I was there, I was in a hotel, and for some reason, like my wife and I, we felt like a very strong presence. Like
Mhm.
it was weird. Like it felt like I don't know. Like I was like, is it the spirits of the people that were once here? Like like the original Africans that were brought here by
Mhm.
slavery.
Mhm.
Like
Well,
the people.
The Geechee population is really heavy down there in South Carolina, and they're a very spiritual group of people.
Can
Yeah.
you can you elaborate on that, Kiki?
I mean, Aquaman probably knows way better than I do, but what I've known is that Geechee people are, like you said, the people that came over from Africa, but still really stuck to a lot of their hoodoo traditions, and we still
No.
practice them.
Or
Yeah.
cool. What's that city in South Carolina? It starts with a B, where they practice a lot of like
Is it
voodoo
Buford?
energy. Yeah, Buford. Yeah,
I've heard of Buford.
I've been told
Buford?
like I've been told be careful when you go to Buford. Like people be doing things out there.
Really? I've heard of
Yeah,
Buford.
Buford is
That's interesting.
strong in Buford, man. I heard
Wow.
when I was out there. When I was out there in South Carolina, like definitely like that. Like my brother says, that energy is out there. Whether you're
Wow.
white, black, Hispanic, a lot of people be doing their thing out there. You got the old school witches, you got the traditional like African type of
Yeah.
witches out there. Yeah.
Mm.
And Kiki, like you and your journey with spiritualism, if
Yeah.
that's what it's called, right?
Hmm.
Like how was it for you to embrace it? Like we known each
Well,
other for at least I would say a good 20 years now.
yeah.
So
Well, I
like
was fighting it. I will say that I was. I wasn't. Um. It didn't come easy to me. I actually was fighting it a lot. There was a lot more people around me. My sisters actually started their journey way before me, and I used to be, I was of the world. I was like, man, fuck that shit. I don't believe that stuff. And I literally got forced into it because then I changed I was going to nursing school. And I don't know how, but my sister, I think it was my older sister, I just started leaning into crystals, and that was like the beginning of like my spiritual journey. And And I think that if I didn't start it then, like I didn't start doing candle work and cards and all that until, and it was funny because Spirit was trying to talk to me through my sisters. They would get readings and I would come up in their readings about things that was going on with me. So the spirit realm has been trying to pull on me forever. My grandmother as well was very much into spirituality. And one of the reasons why she came to America was to get away from it because from what I know, she was pretty powerful. And due to her power, the people that she worked with wanted her to start dabbling in dark arts, and she didn't want to mess with that. So she took a step back, came to America, and then they went Jehovah's Witness, which is like way the other side, right? Which is something that's actually starting to happen now. People who are really deep in spirituality, a lot of them are starting to go back to the church because they feel like they've been doing, like she's like Akua said, demonic things, But yeah, my journey started literally from nursing school, and then I think I got really immersed in it once I finished nursing school, and like things just started happening around me, and I had to start listening to the voices around.
No.
You know,
I love talking about things like that, things like this, because many people shy away from it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, me myself, like I have a conflicted relationship with spiritualism, um
yeah,
because okay, I grew up in it. My brother and we all grew up in it, but for some reason, like I guess my time in the military kind of like tarnished my belief in it, in the sense that like I became more like of
a realist.
a realist scientific type of guy, in the sense that like the whole belief in God and stuff like that, like kind of like went on the in the back window type of say,
Man, you
like
might
I
learn Scientology, bro. Nah, I'm joking.
But
not
I
like
actually
that
believe
either.
in me being a nurse. I believe in science and God. I believe two things can be true at once. I
Yes,
believe God
indeed.
made science. We wouldn't be able to know science unless God had created it.
I agree.
We just studied it,
Facts.
and that's how it became science.
Not to cut you off, bro. I wanted to quickly gravitate into the. I wanted to explain briefly about voodoo versus hoodoo, because when people hear spiritualism, they
Yes,
quickly assume, oh
yes,
my God, he's doing some, he's killing the pig and doing. So voodoo is mainly like for bad. Hoodoo is when you do good, like herbs and good prayers
yes.
and whatnot. That's me briefly explaining into it. People should do more of their research to dive into these two aspects, because there's a huge difference.
Do
But
your research.
mainly ignorant people like to just quickly assume, oh my God, he's doing some type of voodoo. But
I
it's not
can't stand that.
voodoo. Hoodoo is for good. So
I
do your
cannot stand
research
it.
on those things. That's me briefly explaining that. Hi, Sapphire.
I would say, Shakina, voodoo. See, this is the thing. All of
Talk to
these
us.
traditions and religions, including Christianity, um, uh, Jehovah's Witness,
Yeah,
Mormon, whatever it is, there are people who will use it for negativity and
yeah.
Yes,
for bad. But
that's true.
voodoo traditionally has not been used for what it's for is not evil. The origin of voodoo is not evil, but it's
hmm
people who use it for evil purposes.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for
That's how
letting me.
I've been taught as well. I've been taught that voodoo is not, it's not meant to be bad. It's just got a
Right.
bad take
No.
also because of what Western society has taken the few little facts and made it like it's basically like when you see all the kids in Africa with big stomachs and hungry, right? And then you go to Nigeria. Everybody that tells me to go to Nigeria and Ghana, this like it's not like how they be doing it. So it's all sometimes it's propaganda. So
I
you
agree.
Yes.
so the point of all this too, when you see these things, is to steer you away from being awake and being woke,
Mhm.
because if
Mhm.
the powers that be, right, big brother who's always watching doesn't want you to be one with yourself. The minute you're one with yourself is going to mess up the social construct of what they want. So voodoo is bad. Oh, we're gonna put movies, the serpent and the, I think it's the serpent and the snake. We're gonna make these movies where people are, you know, taking people's heads and taking dolls and poking them, and now you're gonna die. Like it's not really like meant to be like
Right.
that. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. Yep, I agree.
Interpret it.
Yep.
I love it because like more and more I feel like more knowledge and more positive information should be shared about this than the negative. Like for instance, like one thing does not really have to do with another, but it kind of makes sense. For instance, like recently the U.S. government released a list of countries that are considered quote unquote dangerous to visit.
Yeah.
uh and like the reason it's all business, like they know that Easter is coming up. They don't want people like black people and other people to get out of the country and go spend their money in other countries. They want them to go to places like
I,
Miami,
I said the same
Florida.
thing.
So
I
they
said the
want
same
they
thing.
want us to stay here. So of course they're
I,
gonna put something
ooh,
out there to try to scare you from not going outside of the United States, from not letting you get your passport. So like it's all in the media. They try to feed you things to intimidate you from exploring deeper
yes.
into things. That's what it goes hand in hand with the same thing with spiritualism. A lot of times like the media has shed so much negativity towards it that like most people,
Hmm.
as soon as you hear hoodoo or voodoo or anything that has to do with spirits, automatically they think you a witch.
Yep.
You trying to do like evil sorcery and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like the more we talk about positivity, about things about this topic that's actually factual and real and positive, the more people are going to be more open to it.
Yeah, I
What
don't
do
get offended. I don't get offended when people call me a witch. I don't get offended at all.
We pretty witches, you know?
Yeah, like I'm a kitchen witch. It's okay. I'll take it. Whatever. That means
A
don't f with
witch,
me.
a witch, a witch just means wise woman anyway.
Ooh, yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna take that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna subscribe. I subscribe to that. I
Mm-hmm.
subscribe to that.
Yep.
Yes, I do. I like
I,
it.
lo-
By
I
the way,
love it.
sorry, y'all, I'm late. I'm Sapphire. I just want to introduce myself real quick. You know,
I know. I didn't want to be ignorant. I was like, Sammy. I was like this,
Yeah.
like a little kid.
this
Yes.
is yes.
Todo mundo, welcome back. My sister, it's been a while since she's been in the episode with us. Welcome back, Sapphire, aka Precious, aka Sweet Flame, aka Dora. You already know.
Oh, so
Funny
cute.
Sam.
I love my sis, and we over here estamos
Oh,
hablando.
That's
The topic tonight, el tema hoy es sobre espiritualidad, energía positiva, energía negativa, brujería, toda esa cosa.
Feminine
So
divinity as well.
divinity as well. So
Cleansing, spiritual
I
cleansing
actually
as well.
I actually want Miss AKUA to elaborate what it means to her to be divine.
Oh wow. What a beautiful question.
mm-hmm.
Um, for me to be divine, it means that you are connected to the source. You're connected to spirit. You're in tune with the earth. You honor your ancestors. Um, you treat people how you want to be treated, but you also
Yep.
protect yourself at the same time. Um, to be divine is um, to exude the examples of being godly, of having self control, of staying in a high vibration as far as your thoughts and your words,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just being pure in spirit and heart is as much as one can be. That's what I feel like it means to be divine.
Oof, damn, that's a
I
good.
like that last part when
Wow,
he said, "As much as one can be."
Mhm.
wow, that was beautiful. Like honestly, like like my cousin stated earlier, like there's something about your presence, about your energy. My brother had told me this way beforehand. We talking about like a month ago. He told me about you, and I had that curiosity. I was like, I would like to meet her or talk to her one day. The way he spoke about you in
Hmm.
such a manner, like
High
my
regard.
brother. Yeah, my brother. My brother doesn't really just do that, so I'm like, okay, I need to see if this lady is really about that type of energy like my brother makes her seem, right? And so far you have delivered. I love your
I
energy,
could
even your
Mhm.
voice. Your
I
voice
could
is amazing.
elaborate. I could elaborate on that.
But Sam, say
Thank you.
Yeah, so Shaq, how you met Miss Akua?
So I was living in South Carolina for a year and a half and whatnot, and I was in this on this journey, on this because we have sometimes in our lives we have different stages of our spiritual journeys.
Yep.
You know, so I was in a moment, and I decided I got invited from another friend. She also reads tarot. Her name is what's her name? Anikita, and
Oh,
she
I love
invited
that.
me to this summer solstice event. And I was like, all right, let me show up and whatnot. I showed up. It was like everybody had like their own different energies and whatnot. They were doing sound bowl healing. They were doing Zumba. They were doing tarot readings. They were doing Reiki healings, and everybody had like their own like stands with their tables, selling things and whatnot. So I'm there, and some hours go by, and it's like it was like a few black people in there. So it was like, ooh, versus certain other people and whatnot. I don't want to really sterilize here. And I was sitting there, and I just see Miss Akua come in, and she had her, she set up a table, and then like everybody just turns around and like looks towards her way, and she's like, trying to set up the table. And since I was like kind of feeling uncomfortable, with what else was going on, I don't want to get into too much detail. So I approached her. I was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Like, I got happy to see, like, she just came with the Black African
Presence.
energy and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I approached her. I was like, "Ma'am, like, if you need any help setting up your table, like, I'm here. I got you." And whatnot. And she set up a table. She had her the things she was selling and whatnot, like her sage and the stones and whatnot. And a lot of people like gravitated to her like immediately when she got there. So since then, it was just history from there. Then she has her store where she sells her items and whatnot. And I also got to partake in a Reiki healing one day. So that
Oh,
was
nice.
amazing. Yes, yes. So,
What is that,
Mr. Kua, if you would like
Miss
to share
Akua?
this Reiki
Um,
healing.
Reiki energy is synonymous in a term that we can understand is synonymous with laying on of hands. Like if you've ever heard
Mm-hmm.
of that in church, where you
Palm healing.
lay on of hands. But the term Reiki itself is Japanese, and it basically Reiki means universal life force energy. So in the system of Reiki, everybody can do it, but when you go through the process of learning how to do it, you have a teacher who basically gives you an energetic attunement that allows the Reiki energy to flow through you. So, so yeah, that's what it is. It's a very light touch, like you would lay on a massage table, and you know, I would go through very lightly touching, different parts of the body to send the Reiki energy um, to the person. And it's very calming. Most people go to sleep when they get the Reiki done, and it helps to clear your aura,
Oh, yes.
and it helps you learn or find out like which chakras might be
Right.
um closed, or
Mm-hmm.
Or
which
block.
chakra needs more work. um a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times when I do the Reiki, I can feel, because I'm an empath as well, I can be very, very sensitive, but I can feel like when people are holding on to the like a lot of pain, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of emotions, stuck emotions. Um, so the Reiki help your energy and clear anything that's stuck in your energy field. And it's beautiful. It really is.
Um, I would love to hop on your testimony because I actually went through a really traumatic time in my life. This 2023. We all know I had my daughter, and I went through a really dark time. There was like dark night of the soul. But I'm also very in tune with myself, and I knew I'm like there's just something blocked. There was things I wanted to do, but I just felt like I had no creative. I just felt like my root wasn't talking to me, my crown wasn't talking to me. I just felt it. So I actually went to Reiki healing in December. I was
Mm,
off of social media. I was just literally down. I was just like, When I say down, I mean like I disconnected from the world.
Mm-hmm.
And this is spiritual side now, and she does Reiki healings. And I went to, she does remote, but I'm a more in person, hands on type person. So I drove out to her, and I didn't realize how many things you meet in Reiki healing, right? So like I met my inner child. I walked through
Mm-hmm.
my old house. Like it was really intense. At one point, she met told me, she was like, "Whatever you feel, just feel it." Because I think I wanted to get emotional, but I was holding on to it, so I just let it
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I promise you, hand to God, I left that Reiki healing, and I knew I was blocked. I left that Reiki healing, and I swear to you, maybe a couple hours later, I felt different.
Right.
And
Yeah.
from there, it opened me up to where I'm at now. I,
Yeah.
That's
I started my
amazing.
business, like like
Mm.
it. I knew if it wasn't for the Reiki healing, I probably would still been blocked.
Yes,
Mm.
indeed.
Mm.
Yeah, I could attest to that as well. Like I mentioned, I try to keep it brief with certain personal reasons, but I felt low within certain points within
Mhm.
myself. So with Miss Akua, like for example, one of my biggest with my chakras was my crown chakra.
Woo.
So
Who told me?
she really focused on that area. And as a matter of fact, even with Reiki healings, you can use stones. So the
Yeah.
amethyst stone was, one of the stones that really helped me clear my crown chakra. And like
Yep.
Akina said, after you do a Reiki healing, you literally feel like your energy is back. You feel like
Back.
cleansed, everything's good, and you more in tune with yourself. So
Mhm.
I would say to everybody who's listening, look it up, try it out, or if you're in South Carolina, go to Miss Akua's store and she got y'all.
I
Definitely.
loved it. And I wanted to ask my sister Safi, aka Precious, like for you, like how deep or how much does the spiritualism means to you in your life, in your day-to-day life? How much does it mean?
Well, I wanted to piggyback what Miss sorry, I might pronounce it wrong. Can you please correct me from Akua, right? Miss
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I wanted to make sure about the empath. When I was a child, very young, I couldn't understand why I would sense adults, mainly adults, like I would feel down people,
Mhm.
you know, um our mother actually, she used to always tell me, just let me know what you feel, and don't put too much mind, because when you kind of open that, you don't want to open, you could find something you don't want to find, right? So as
Mm.
I to my teenage, I've just knew at that feeling that I've always been different from other people. I wouldn't say it because people, they assume me, be like, "What you mean?" Or, "Do you think you're all?"
Mhm.
Certain comments. Therefore, I will say about 2 years ago, I had an awakening. I was very dark. I was very tormented. Like I would have moments where it's like, this is not who I am.
Mhm.
And God is the key out of everything, you know. So I went to Honduras. I would say in my and I felt like a complete different person. I was gonna also say that this age to it. Every person has their own journey. It could start from a young age or it could
Mhm.
get older, very different. So that's something that I learned because I'm like, I'm young. Like I'm very, very young. I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't. Why? And I came to realize that it's not because, you know, something evil is trying to attack. It's just like something that I had to be awoke to. Something that like I'm here for a reason, like purpose.
Yep.
Any but they're getting to answer the question to conclude your question, sensation. Spirituality is one of a kind. It means a lot. It's about self love, inner peace. Because if you don't have the positivity, You could go left.
Mm-hmm.
You could
Yes.
go evil. You could become evil, and that's what majority of people wants, especially when they
Right.
hear spiritual. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
so it's
Especially
like
when you have a light around you,
Right.
a natural light.
no
Right.
matter
It bothers
what,
people.
yeah, I no matter what, they're gonna always try to put you down
Right.
with them, and that's why I love spirituality because I will always nobody's gonna ever be the reason why I become bitter. You know, I
Mm.
will always have this light, and I just ask for God's strength. So that would be my answer to your question.
Love it.
That was
And
great.
I want to
b-
piggyback off what Sappy said real quick.
hold on, bro. Hold on. Hold that thought real quick. Hold that thought real quick. It's 30 minutes in, like we always do. Real quick commercial. So real quick commercial. We're gonna have two special commercials today. We're gonna promote Miss Akua's business, and we're also gonna promote that event. First, we're gonna go with Miss Akua. Miss Akua, can you give us a little information on your business for those people that reside in South Carolina or anybody that just wanna get some advice from you through the phone or FaceTime?
Oh wow. Okay, so our store is called Avatar Essentials. You can find us on
Mm.
Facebook. We're in Columbia, South Carolina. We offer candles, crystals, clothes, readings, candle work, all that good stuff, Reiki. And so yes, Avatar Essentials, and you can find us on Facebook. Our website is actually shopavataressentials.com. I believe it's still under construction, but it'll be up very, very soon.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Avatar Essentials, everybody. Todo mundo, vayan a ese sitio de web llamado Avatar Esenciales.
Oh my God.
Go, people. Y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna find some candles. Van a encontrar candelas de todo un poco. Now, second ad, real quick. This Saturday, you already know what's gonna happen in Houston. Honduras meets Jamaica and Belize, Volume 3. Y'all don't wanna miss this one. Esta fiesta va a estar en otro nivel. This party's gonna be in another level. You gotta pull up, bring your girlfriend, bring your wife. You know, it's Valentine's Day weekend. Oh, pre-Valentine's Day weekend. If you don't have a wife, if you don't have a girlfriend, bring your side chick. Just bring
Oh my
everybody.
God.
Come have a
Not the
good
side chick.
time. Come
Not the
turn up.
side chick.
Yeah, you already know. We're not gonna take no pictures, no videos. Just bring your girls and have a good time. You know.
OMG.
Bring your
Brought to
boys.
you, or
Pause.
bring your homies. You know. Pause.
Bring your
And
boy.
this was brought to you
Side
by
dudes.
GME. Now, Miss Akua, I got a question now. So if
Mhm.
somebody try to like call you or hit you up and be like, "Oh, I want some work to see if you can help me get my man back," do you do the
Oh
type of work?
God.
I do not
That's
do
good.
that type of work. I do not. Let me repeat. I do not
I agree
do
with
that
you. I
type
don't
of
do
work
love
because
readings.
the
Mm-mm.
thing is, when we try to manipulate people's hearts and people's feelings and emotions, let me tell you something. It will come back in the
It
most
comes back.
ugliest negative way. And see,
Yeah.
the energy, the frequency that the women are on, and that we're setting the example so other women can rise up, is the
Yeah.
energy of divine feminine. Divine feminine operates in truth, justice, balance, peace,
Mm-hmm.
order, reciprocity. So we don't do things to control another human, another woman, and especially another man. So I would tell them, if someone called and wanted me to do work to help them get their man back, I would redirect them to work on self love,
Self. Yep.
because that's where your power lies, in how you feel about yourself, and everything else will flow from there. All things good will come when a woman and a man it loves themselves.
Okay. Preach to
Wow.
that.
Oh my God, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was
Preach
this
to
is the
that, honey.
yeah, this my God, like okay, people, mi gente, what Miss Akua acaba de decir es que no la llamen para tonteras como para conseguir su mujer o su hombre, ella no hace ese tipo de trabajo. Ella le va a dirigir a ustedes que vayan a saber cómo volver a amarse a usted mismo o a usted misma, porque cuando tú te empiezas a amarte a tú mismo o a tú misma, así naturalmente todo va a venir junto y todo va a funcionar cuando tú tienes amor propio. Entonces no la llamen a ella, todo va a estar bien, sigan en su vida.
Y
Well,
también quiero decir de que, ¿verdad? Como dijo mi hermano, el amor propio. Nada va a funcionar si tú trajes de amarrar, porque así se dice, amarrar a una persona. Si tú no te amas a mí mismo y quieres amarrar a otra persona, no te va a ir bien, porque el amor propio es para todo en la vida.
Yes.
Así que eso le está dando a la gente, por eso hay ciertas personas que lo hacen y la vida no va bien, por eso mismo, porque es pura maldad, eso no se hace.
Facts.
exactamente, hermana, exactamente.
Y, my bad, Samsation. I just want to, Kino wanted to. Are we back from the commercial?
Oh yeah, we've been back.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, I wanted to give the word to Shakino. Kino.
Whew, man,
Oh yeah, what you were gonna say, bro? Yeah, continue, bro.
what was I gonna say? Oh man, I lost my train of thought real quick.
That
You
did
was
it have
No,
to,
find it.
something I said, and there's something Miss Kua said as well.
yeah. Is that
Yeah,
it had to do with the last thing with like Miss Akua said, like about it wasn't about the self love. That's after.
yeah,
It was
yeah. No, I'm trying to. Whew.
man.
It was something because I remember it was right after because he said Sappy said I did mention about the age, the
Oh,
journey.
there we go. There we go. There we go. Yes. I wanted to. Safi mentioned about the journey and whatnot, and the different ages. Also, there's different. Everybody has a different purpose
Mm-hmm.
uh, within the realm of spirituality. We have some that sing it. We have
Mm-hmm.
some that do herbal medicine. We have
Mm-hmm.
some that may play a specific type of instrument, like the sound bowl, like the Tibetan bowl, to heal.
Mm-hmm.
There is also palm healers. There's also priestess. There's mediums. There's psychics. There's tarot.
Creatives.
People
Creatives,
that
yeah.
do tarots.
Yeah.
So, and there's folks that do it all at one. They have the whole thing, the whole shebang. So that's what I wanted to elaborate on. It's just not like everybody does the same thing. There's different,
It's
and
not a
there's
monolith.
warriors. There's protectors.
Yeah.
So that's one
It's
thing.
not, it's
That's
under
all.
an umbrella of spirituality, but it's not a monolith. You know what I'm saying? I think people come into it and they're like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be doing that. No, your spirit will lead you to what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Right.
I
Hmm.
started tarot because for years, it's been knocking on my door. And I've been like, I'm not reading. I don't want to read nobody. I don't get readings. I don't want to read nobody. I don't get readings. And ever so often it'd be somebody or something like you should read. And I'm like, no, because like some people really stick to that and I don't want to like mess up anybody's fate. But it's like it got to a point where it's like I went through a dark night of the soul. And when I went through the dark night of the soul, it helped me find my purpose. And I don't even need cards. I don't even need cards. I be knowing shit. I just use it as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to answer the calling, and ever since I did that, it's
Amen.
been I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because it's just flowing so easily and naturally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I have a
oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to piggyback. My bad, Sensation. Can I
no.
talk?
Yeah, go ahead, sis.
Because Akina, I love your journey. I love.
Yes. Thank you.
It's something that like I had to get used to because we're like between us and our family, you and
Yeah.
this have always been like Americanized and stuff like that, right? So
Mhm.
when you the spirituality and all, I'm just like
Mhm.
it hits everybody different. Some
It
people
does.
get biased about certain things, and I'm not perfect. I will be biased in certain things as well. But you got to go through
Mhm.
certain experiences in order to like open your eyes. So
Yeah.
I love that for you. I don't
Thank
know,
you.
at this I don't know my purpose yet, but I do have a strong love and feeling for inner child and
Yeah. Ooh.
children. As my brother Kino was mentioning, there's different ways how to heal. I love to
Yes, there is.
I dance a lot. and I show that with kids. I just don't coach like, oh, do this, do that. I give that
Yeah.
encouraging to kids where it's like that self love. You guys like to dance, show it,
Show it.
embrace who you are through the dance. So it's like the same way as my cousin Akina does it in that way. You know, it's just different
Mm-hmm.
yes, categories in under the same umbrella. Go ahead.
Yes.
Right.
And like have y'all ladies and even bro, have y'all ever felt compromised? Like I feel like when your integrity is compromised, when your morality is compromised, do you feel like you're able to deliver the same quality of work when it comes to like what you do, like spiritually wise? Because I feel like to be able to deliver in this type of business, you have to have a good, clean soul. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever been in a moment in life where y'all feel like y'all wasn't being yourself, y'all were compromised, y'all were like angry, like that the darkness was consuming you?
Yes.
No, I
It
think
did.
I think I was like that before I knew myself. Once I knew, we all have dark and light. I think I was always comfortable in my dark, and then I had to find the light.
Mm.
So, but if I'm going through something really dark, and I feel intensely and immensely, I have to take a step back and ground. I have to meditate, remember who the fuck I am, because I've never had a problem knowing who I am. It's me letting people project onto me, and I also am an empath. So they project onto me their stuff, and it becomes my own.
Mm-hmm.
When I
Mhm.
really knew in my gut who I was all along,
Mhm.
you know?
And you know that movie? I'm not trying to bring a fictional thing into a reality thing, but like y'all seen that movie Black Panther?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay,
love.
you know how they got the spiritual world where like when they are when they take the powder thing that they take to go into the other world and see their
Hmm.
ancestors. Do
The
y'all
earth.
believe there's a life after death?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Definitely.
I
Definitely.
love the movie Coco. Have y'all seen that Disney movie
Love
Coco?
Coco.
Yes.
Yes. Love
That's
Coco.
I honestly feel that that's how it is. You know that
Hmm.
that other realm exists, and they're living. Our ancestors are not gone. They're still living. They're just in the spirit in another realm.
I
I
I
agree.
believe that.
agree. So, I like that example that you used, Coco, because one thing that I love about it is that there's the forgotten spirits that,
Yeah.
Hmm.
so therefore, when our ancestors, we could sense when our ancestors just wants, a plate of food,
Sure
a,
do.
a fruit, a wine. It's for real,
It's for
because it
real.
Hmm.
so that they're remembered, their
Yep.
presence mattered in our lives.
Hmm.
You know, so when the moment that a lot of family, because I've heard stories where it's like, yes, I'm spiritual, but then I switched it. I don't believe in that anymore. Okay,
Well, I just said that. I just said that. So cool. I'm
yeah,
just, yep.
but it's like this is why some ancestors I heard they're lost.
Yeah.
It's starting to
Yeah.
be forgotten. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like do believe that's really important to just show some love, even if it's a little prayer. You
Yep.
guys are in my mind. I will always love y'all. Thank you. At least that, because they
At
be
least.
forgotten. That's why some spirits become tormented, and it affects
Yeah.
us because they come in and attack us for trying to get the
Hmm.
they want.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm, mm, mm.
I just had a
It's so
conversation
true.
like that with one of my friends today. I literally just had the same conversation with Safi. I said, and my mom always talks to me like, she's always like, because when I was going through one of the worst times of my life, it's like your ancestors, you notice your ancestors by talking about how grateful you are, right? Because I don't think people realize how protected they are. And they
Hmm.
keep going against themselves. And every time you go against yourself, God's going to show you you're going against the word, right?
Yeah.
So just sitting down, like you said, I had a conversation with my friend today because, something didn't work out for her. And I said, you're being redirected. That's how I feel in my gut. You're being redirected. It's not like something's wrong with you. You're probably supposed to go in a different lane. And I said, I want you to focus on all the blessings you do have, not what you don't have. Because the minute you start focusing on what you don't have, it's gonna send you into a darkness. And you don't want that. That sends you into depression. Depression is the devil. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying our mindset has a lot to do with where we're at. Our
Mm,
mindset has a lot to do with how far we're gonna go. Our heart, it's our heart and our mind, and that leads to our gut. All those things have to be in alignment. So if you're not taking time to sit and be present and notice all the beautiful things you have around you,
Yeah.
you're not going to find the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree with you saying
Yep.
about what our ancestors. Yes.
Now, I needed to hear that myself. Like in this journey, we all go through it. So it's like that's why it's so important to support each other. You know,
Yeah.
that whole thing being alone. Yes, you could go through solitude, but
Yeah.
we're strong together. Because
Yes.
Tina, I needed to hear that right now, literally.
Oh, stop. You made me cry.
And picking
Like,
up on Safi, what Safi just said versus solitude. People need to
Yeah.
distinguish the difference between solitude and isolation when you're
Isolation.
going
Hmm.
through these times. You don't want to isolate yourself from those that are there for you. Isolation
Hmm.
is like it's like the bad. So
more
you
negative.
got to practice solitude to find yourself. Dig deep and finding
I
that
had to
light.
find a difference. I had to find a difference in
And
that too, Shakino. I have
real
to find a
quick,
difference.
and Akina keeps mentioning Dark Nights. There's a book called
Hmm.
Dark Nights of the Soul by Thomas More. It's a great book that really goes deep into those insights of when you're feeling down or depressed and whatnot, and how to get out of those hard times. This book
Mm.
is really valuable. It's really
And
great. So
as well as Dark Knight, I want people to start researching their solar return. So that also, like your birth chart, can really open up doors for you. And me and AKUA were just talking about that before we went live. Like your birth chart has so many secrets in it, and there's so many gems in it for you to make yourself better. I don't care what nobody says about astrology, talking about they don't believe in it. If you believe, it's the science of your birth. That's how I look at it. And I think it's really good to see where these transits are in your chart, so you know whether to get ahead of it, or like how to stay in alignment with it. So some people have solar returns, and in your solar return, it can happen like 3 to 4 times in your life. And when you have a solar return, sometimes your world can come crashing down, but it's meant for you to rebuild it again.
Mm.
But if you're not spiritual, like all of us, then you're in the wind somewhere. So I think a good place to start for people who aren't spiritual at all is to at least start with astrology and like reading their birth chart, getting somebody to be careful who reads your birth chart now. Do it with somebody that you really, really trust, because it can be very beneficial to you and your success and just finding yourself. That's what I wanted to say. But I forgot that.
So
Yeah.
that
Hey,
point, people,
Shakino,
uh,
yes, sir.
ayúdame con esta parte que voy a decir. Ayúdame a trasladar un poco. Cuando uno no tiene su espíritu elevado, es más fácil que el diablo venga y te consuma.
Mm-hmm.
Es más fácil
Mm-hmm.
que tú hagas las decisiones incorrectas en la vida.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. You want me to translate that?
yeah.
Vaya, Shakino.
Well, he said, when your spirit is low, it's easier for the dark slash the devil to consume you and make you do bad things.
Most
That's
definitely.
that's what he said.
I'm watching it in real time with somebody that I had a child with. I'm watching it in real time. It's like scary because this is somebody you knew, and they're like them and the person they're involved with is on the other side.
Right.
Mm.
Like you can feel it, you can see it in their face, you can see it in because you can read once you do what we do and you're involved like this, Chuckino, Akua, Safi, even Samuel, you look at people and you could be like, ooh, something's dark around them. I don't really like
Right.
that energy.
Mm-hmm.
You could smell it, you could taste it, you could feel it. It's like your hairs go up.
Yeah.
So he's right. Samuel's right. You have no direction. The devil will take you, and the devil's gonna make it look nice. But then that he gonna pick that shit up and drop it on your head. Just
And
no.
and in order to uphold that light, it's good to one keep a candle on. If
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
you have a shrine or altar, keep your
Mm-hmm.
candle on.
Keep it on.
Or nature is another pathway. Or
Yep.
going by the river. Miss Akua does a lot of river cleansing. You could
Mm-hmm.
elaborate on that. What else? Even music is another
Yeah.
path. Keeping that
And the
energy. Church
prayers.
and
Yeah.
prayers, of course.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
Miss
Prayer.
Akua,
Yep.
if you would like to share those river cleansings that you do, please do.
Um. Well, before I say before I talk about that, when your brother brought up how when your spirit is so low, how the negative energy can take you. I It's a lady on Instagram, and I have to find her page, but she's a hypnotist. She takes people under in hypnosis, and she finds that there are spirits that are attached to people,
Mhm.
and
I believe it.
she talks to the spirits that are attached to the people, and she sends them to the light.
Mm.
I have to find her page, y'all, because this is the
Please do and
most
send it to me.
it's the most
Yeah.
fascinating thing I've ever heard. The last video I watched, she was talking to a black woman who had a racist old white man attached to her
Mm,
at her heart. And this
Mm.
lady was in so much pain.
mm,
And so it's important, to not allow ourselves to get too low. Like, it's like, okay, you got to reach out. You got to reach out for help, because anything can happen when our mind is not in the right space. And also, sometimes those very negative thoughts are not ours.
Mhm.
So that's when we
Yes.
go, okay, let me go pray over some water, let me go take a spiritual bath. Let me call somebody. And that's, what you were saying, Safi, about not going through life alone is so important. And see, over in
Mhm.
the United States, it's like that. So many people, especially women, are isolated. Oh, we're just in the house with our children, just all the time, just isolated. And it's not supposed to be like that. All over the world, women work together, men work together. We have to help share the load, and then have those people around us. Like Akina said, who can look at us and be like, okay, girl, something's not right. Let me
Mhm.
help you. So yeah, the river cleansing. Cause see, a part of what I do, and what I've been doing for about 7 years now, is I hold women's circles or sister circles.
Mm.
So what we do, we get together every month, and we get in the spirit. We dress in all white. We share. I
Love
mean, the
that.
whole point is to, like they say in church, is to like lay your burdens down, because a lot of us
Mm.
are, have gone through so much trauma and so much pain, but we're still living our day-to-day lives, and we don't have that space to let it all go. So we're just suppressing all of these emotions. So the sister circle is a safe space where we come together, where we share. Um, we do oracle readings. We have a ceremony coming up on Sunday, and it's sisters coming from all over, from Charleston, from Chester, South Carolina, and we're gonna have a plant medicine ceremony. And
Oh, dope.
these plant medicines is cacao, sananga, and hape. They
Mhm.
come from the Amazon, and they're not psychedelic. But these medicines help to ground us. So that's what we're
Mm,
doing
wow.
on Sunday. And the river cleanses, we make offerings to our water spirits, because we know the spirit of our ancestors, and especially our mothers, are at the river. So, or at
Mhm.
any of these amazing water sources. So we go, we make offerings of flowers, of fruits in our prayers, and we also cleanse ourselves at the water.
Oh.
So we do that. We
I
do
gotta
that
go down there for that.
So, let me tell you, if I
Yes.
was rich right now, I'll be right there on Sunday. Oh my God, that
Yeah,
is
I'm like, I gotta go down there just for that.
yes,
Just so
Yes,
I could,
please do.
you know, you
yes.
said something about community, and I think that's really important because I don't think I'd be where I'm at today if I didn't have community. Um, I didn't miss nothing in terms of my spirituality was I was awakened, but in that time I still had people covering me so
Hmm.
much that whatever was sent to destroy me didn't really prosper because I was so protected, not only in the spiritual realm, but
Mm.
like on here on earth. I
Hmm.
had so much. I had the utmost support, and I think
Hmm.
that that's and it's all. And I have guy friends, but my women, we're a true community, my friends and I. You know what I'm saying? We're all like minded. We're all into the same things. Everybody's different, but like I'm probably out of my friendship group, I'm probably like the heaviest immersed in this, but nobody looks at you like you're crazy when you're talking about candles or when you're talking about full moon rituals or you're talking about the new moon or you're talking about writing something and then burning it. Nobody's looking at you crazy, and that's very important. It's very important in this culture. I wish that on people to be more open-minded so people can feel free to come around and do what we're doing right now. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
It is.
It's amazing.
I agree. I agree.
Um, yo quiero decir una cosa más. Yo creo que sobre el tema que se está discutiendo ahorita, la mayoría del tiempo, la gente que no son abiertos para esto es porque lo tienen miedo.
Yeah.
Ellos no están espiritualmente inclinados para entender lo que le está pasando. Hay veces ellos piensan que están locos, pero ellos no están locos. Es el espirituismo que está creciendo en ellos, pero ellos no lo entienden. Y hay veces si tienen familiares que están en esto y ellos no los acompañan en su viaje para el espiritismo, ellos van a estar así tormentados y después tal vez van a estar en la calle caminando como locos porque ellos nunca fueron caminados a este mundo. KHINO, por favor.
Yes, indeed. He basically said that there's folks that are not spiritually inclined or they're afraid. Uh, you can help me out here, Akina or Safi. He got it. I'm trying to translate this here. You hear what he said, right?
I did.
No, I'm sorry. Me personally, I didn't hear the ending.
I didn't hear. That's the thing. I'm like, I think at the end, but
I didn't.
I heard the.
All
I
right.
took it as that they're not spiritually inclined, and they're running around crazy because they don't have any sense of like direction. That makes sense.
Right. Right. And some people feel afraid.
Yes, that's what he
Feel
said too.
afraid
People are
they're
afraid.
not able to understand what's going on with them, especially if they're not spiritually inclined. But they're not. They're not. Some people might think they're crazy, but they're not crazy. They just have this perhaps an ancestor or they're spiritually inclined, but they don't know that. So other
So
people portray them as, hey, you crazy, but no, because of lack of knowledge of themselves or their background, uh, you know, they may seem crazy.
yeah, to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if they don't have that guidance, they may lose
No.
themselves. And then people, when this happens, they end up going to the hospital or to see a psychiatrist or
Yeah.
therapy. So then a lot of psychiatrists are not aware of the spiritual realm because they focus on their medicine. So what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna diagnose you as schizophrenic,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or you bipolar, this and that and whatnot. But no one literally, you have a background of ancestral background of spirituality, and you were not aware of that. But now you went to the doctor and they labeled you as like schizophrenic when that's not the case.
And
I agree.
schizophrenic, they're on a different time with a
Yeah.
timeline, and people tend to misunderstand them. And I really feel like they speak the language of the ethers that we don't see, like the 5D. But
I do agree to piggyback to what Kino said. First off, I want to pause real second. I want to introduce my cousin Nandy. I
I
see.
was just about to do that
Nandy's
too.
here. Where's Nandy
Yeah.
at?
What's up,
Hi,
Nandy?
Andy.
Welcome. But
Blessed family. Hi
Hi,
everyone.
baby.
Miss
Hi.
y'all. Love hearing the conversation.
uh,
To me and to me in.
Yes. But
to piggyback, no, right? Something that my mother has always told me, right, is that to get to know yourself first, because dealing with a lot of spirituality and ancestral background, you could get really confused, and there's a high chance it could make you go a little cuckoo, as they say. So it's really important. Is this is what I'm kind of like I'm dealing with at this exact moment, where it's like I need to know who Sapphire Love is. That's my real name, by the way, Sapphire Love. Because so you could tell the difference when it's your ancestors trying to communicate with you, or it's yourself, your mind, because the mind is tricky as well. And that's all I
Mhm.
want to say behind Tino's comment.
Yo quiero decir mis últimas palabras. Yo creo que
To
yo,
también mute your mic if you're
yo
not
quiero
on
que
mic.
Katie,
Oh,
yo quiero que
go ahead.
Katie diga unas palabras porque ella tiene un espiritismo bien fuerte. Y voy a compartir las últimas palabras. Cuando tú dejas que alguien se meta en tu mente, también puede afectar tu espiritismo. Tú tienes que cuidarlo, no todo el mundo tiene que saber si tú tienes con ese don, porque hay muchas personas que andan caminando en este mundo con esa maldad en el corazón y cuando ellos se dan cuenta que tú tienes el don de la luz, ellos van a querer tratar de comprometerte para dañarte, para que así tú no sirvas la palabra de Dios. Entonces ellos te quieren dañar. Entonces hay que tener mucho cuidado con quien tú expones la energía positiva con que naciste. Y con eso me despido. Gracias.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
That
Samsation.
was good.
Thank you. It's really nice. Nandy, I wish she was here from the beginning.
Me too. I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry.
I would like
You
to
good,
ask Nandy
Nancy?
though. Nandy, this is Miss Okoa, by the way.
Hi, AKUA. Nice to meet you.
Meet
this
you.
is our cousin. And I would like to ask Nandy, what is spirituality to you, and why do you love it so?
Spirituality to me is the complete acceptance and acknowledgement of God, and knowing that God is, he has an umbrella of terms, right? But understanding that God is love, and love is the all uncertainty that gives ultimate room for growth, which is what spirituality is for me. It's always growth. It's not necessarily a particular set of rules or a system, because in the karmic system there are their own laws, none that we can write in this physical realm. So for me, spirituality is understanding that I have to believe in something that I cannot see, touch, or hear, but
Mm.
um I can definitely feel within my entire being.
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody want to piggy bank?
I think she worded it beautifully. I think it's also like knowing that God is working through you,
Hmm.
right? And that you have to leave you have to leave yourself open so God
Mhm.
can work through you. And in that, it's like what you said, Sappy, is knowing yourself, right? So knowing yourself, knowing how powerful you are, knowing what you add to this world, right? And balancing, because we all have dark and light, and also we also have masculine and feminine, and it's also just balancing those things and always having something to come back to, which is God. Whoever how Nandy said it, whatever you want to call it, but just having always something to come back to ground you and plant you, and know that this is bigger than you.
I
I,
agree.
you- I would say it's more like understanding that God, we have this idea that God is this outside tangible item, right? It looks like
Mhm.
this, it does this, but what we really don't understand is that God is within all of us. Not to
All
say
of
that
us.
we are God, we are a piece of God. So circling back to
Mhm.
like that last discussion that I was in with you guys, understanding that
Mhm.
every body part has its function, right? But every function is still important for that entire body to function
Yeah.
completely, right? So God
Yeah.
always being inside of us, right? We can call God synonymous with love. We're gonna go with uncertainty. We're gonna go with breath, right? The first thing that
Mhm.
you're breathing in is what? Air, right? That's God. Yahweh. That's the sound that you're making. So that's your first entity to understand that God has always been within you. It's nothing that you have to go to a church for. It's nothing that you have to open a Bible for. I mean, it's great, but that's something for our human minds in this physical world to be able to grasp our mind around the concept of there is a greater energy, there's a greater being within all of us, that we can't just put our finger on it. There's not a particular image, there's not a particular sound to it. It's just being open to believe that this big uncertainty exists, and this is where you're going to flourish the most in it. It's not knowing.
It's
This is
not.
where you grow the most. It's not knowing. It's not the pamphlet. It's not the guidelines that you did. It's not the brainstorming. It was in the most uncomfortable and unknowing situation that you were
Woo.
in that you grew the
Hell yeah.
most.
Hell
Exactly.
yeah.
Moment where you least expect
Yes,
it.
indeed.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes,
It's all
indeed.
faith, and faith cannot
It's the
exist where
God
there's
in
fear.
you. It's God in you. It's trusting you. So it's being able to say, like, if you can trust God, you can also trust yourself, right? Because you're not separate.
Exactly. I agree.
God is not separate from the body. The body is not separate from the mind. The mind is not separate from the other realm, the
Yeah.
spiritual
It's the
realm.
way you
We're so
talk.
attached to our physical bodies, but the only thing you die with is your spirit. So why not enrich your spirit while you're here? Because the body, we got to give it back. You can't die with the money. You can't die with the house. You can't die with the
Mhm.
partner, right? But your spirit is the one thing that leaves with you. So how do you make that righteous enough to, in your judgment, right? For your time and your
Mhm.
judgment, what God is going to ask you, not God's question for you is really not exactly, it's really what did you do? It's not like
Yeah,
who
not
did
how
you
many
love?
cars you
It's not where
have.
did you
Yeah.
graduate?
Hmm.
It's really what did you do? And it's
Hmm.
not about, okay, well, you gave this charitable, no. It was when you didn't want to be around this person, how did you find compassion, right? If you were angry at this very moment and you had damn well right to be, how did you fix that? If you fucked up last time and then you had a chance to redo it, did you improve? It's all of those things to say God is looking for that. He wants the improvement. It's not you living righteously every
Hmm.
day. No. He knows that we're gonna make mistakes, right? Humans are not robots. However, how are you improving those things? That's
I
what
Yes,
makes you
indeed.
ready to enrich your spirit, to be able to not have to
So
reincarnate,
true.
to learn those lessons all over again.
So
What was that?
true.
I
It's like
I
so true.
I agree
Yes,
with
indeed.
Mandy, and I believe that's why there's something such thing that's called earthbound spirits. There's a lot of
Mm.
earthbound spirits where it's like that's the majority. Cuando um, well, let me say with this: Christianity matters a lot in our hearts, especially being a spiritual person. I don't mean Christianity as in like you always have to have the Bible, as my cousin said, Nandy said, always have the Bible or go to church. You know, it's always good, of course, but what I'm trying to say is like there's a lot of hurting spirits in this world. Earthbound spirits could come to because they see that light that we have, you know, and it's like that's where we got to be careful to know
Very.
our own person as whole than to know when it's something else. Because sometimes that something else is not good.
And don't doubt it, right? Because I could be as confident as people may think. There was a point in my life where I doubted my path, and you know, God had talked to me before, and my ancestors have spoken to me about certain things in my life, right? I chose to ignore it because I didn't choose faith over fear. And that is something I had to learn now because in that time my gut was right. I just didn't have enough evidence tangible, right? But that's not faith. Faith, you don't have no tangible evidence. You just gotta go. You just gotta believe that it's bigger, that is what's meant
Mm,
for you is gonna be for you. I
Yes,
did not
indeed.
do that. I created my own timeline and I
So
had to pay for that. I'm still paying for that because you have this timeline in your head. You're like, oh, I should have this by this time. Okay, well, this didn't come to me yet, so you know what? I'm gonna just make this person work, and then that's how you get humbled real fast. So
it goes back to the voices that y'all was saying. Like sometimes the voices in your head is not always right, but it's not always you. It's just
it's
something
your
that you grew
ego.
up with. It's the voices that
Yeah.
the criticizing voices, the voices
Hmm.
that said you have to be this and you should be that. It's nothing that you
Yeah.
actually saw for yourself. It's just societal norms. We'll go with that.
Yeah. And
Yes,
ego can be
indeed.
the devil as well because the ego is very loud. The ego wants to take you away from your higher self. If you don't know how to balance it, the
The
ego wants to
ego
take you
wants
away.
to defend you. Your ego comes to defend you, and only when you feel threatened. That's why your ego is there. When you feel
And
threatened, your ego is there to say, "Not me
and
today."
no, don't go there. And then if you're not in line with it, because if you're not in line with yourself and how to balance your ego with self, oh yeah, it could take you somewhere real crazy. So, you got to
Left.
make sure your ego, you got to make sure you know how to reel that in and saying, and like you said, like going back to God. Now, is this godly of me? Is this love? How? What would that whole? What would Jesus do? What would God do if it was me?
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
What would God do? I agree.
But what God
Mhm.
do?
And
Real quick, guys, real quick, like we always do on the show, real quick, I'm gonna read some of these comments and thank you guys for staying in tune with us. We have JBW Crew from the beginning. One of the first comments that he or she says, I can't really see the picture. To be honest, sometimes you need to go through your lowest so that you can go through an awakening and bring yourself
Ooh,
up because we all have a purpose. That's what's up.
I snapped to that.
Here's another
Definitely.
one. Shout out to Emma Melendez. She said, like for example, when you dream about when you dream about a thing that about to what's about to happen. I think the words got messed up here. Or cleansing your home because you feel bad energy. Okay. Oh, I see what she's saying. When you dream about something that's about to happen or cleansing your home because you feel bad energy. Got it. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what she said. And shout out to everybody else here on the live with us. Saludos, saludos. And yeah, I wanted to share something that we do within the Garifuna community when it comes to ceremony and rituals and whatnot. We have ceremonies called like shugus, the goose, the god.
Yeah.
How you saying that? The
Mhm.
god.
the
I was,
Gadube. The
there we
Gadube.
go.
Daga,
Yes, that's who.
Yeah,
That
daga,
one
that
right
that
there.
Mandy said it correctly. And there's Mali. Mali.
Yes, we have a few. Each has they have their own different ways
Meaning,
of
yeah.
doing that specific ceremony. For example, get like Safi said earlier, put in a plate. Within these ceremonies, we have tables full of foods that our ancestors would like to eat, like from like raw foods for like let's say those warriors from the jungles, raw food or
Yeah.
specific tamal or specific fruit, a specific drink, alcohol, gifiti, things like that. Within the
And
goose and shagoos is like upbringing and uplifting your spirit and those
yeah.
ancestors as well with drums, maracas, and dancing.
Singing.
So just briefly, that's an explanation of certain traditions that we do within the Garifuna culture.
And something that I learned from what my brother just said, because they usually keep the food on top, like on the table, and they put the drinks under the table, right? So
Mhm.
I saw someone put a plate on the ground on the sand, and I'm like, why? Why is it there? And that's how you know that it's always something to learn when it comes to spirituality. I love it. That's the one reason why I love about it. You just always have something to learn from it. They
Mhm.
said the person told me those are for those who passed away in the sea, either drowning.
Mm.
So spiritually, how they kind of say they kind of stay like how they passed away,
Yeah,
so they can't reach the table. They could grab it from the
because they're
bottom.
there, because they stuck in
Yeah, and I was
the
just
cave
like,
of water.
that's cool. So to close this out, I have one question I would like for each of y'all to answer it. I would like to know, who is your spiritual role model? I will close it with that question.
Ooh.
Who is your
Ooh.
spiritual role model? Anybody could go first, whoever volunteers.
Dang, I feel like I have more than one.
Okay.
I have more than one, but
Because
there's
I
That's a
one
great
that just
question.
came to mind. I don't know why.
My
Hmm.
spiritual role model is my mother.
That's what I was gonna say as well.
I love that. That's so nice. That's so that's so sweet.
We have, yeah,
um,
our mother.
I would want to say
in the spiritual realm, or like, are we talking about like on Earth?
No, like anything. It's just your role
Okay, okay,
model.
okay.
Yeah.
I that's a hard question for me.
That's hard for me too. I'm over
I
here
do
like,
have a spiritual
Oops.
teacher that I've had for about 3 years now. So she's a priestess, and she has had Sangoma teachings, and She's a priestess of Ifa as well. So she's one
I
of my
love you,
role
Fa.
models. But I would also say just the great mother, like the black goddess in general, the divine mother in general is my role model because I feel like, ever since I found out about the feminine aspect of creation and the creator, that has been like where it's almost like where my heart is at. I don't know what it is. And I honor the father as well, always. I will always
Mhm.
honor the divine masculine principle. The thing is, we were just never taught. Well, I know I wasn't taught about the feminine part of creation. So I would say that's where
Love,
my energy is
lovely
at
to hear, Miss
now.
Akua. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And I have a question for all of you. How do you go about basically distinguishing between somebody that's really about it and somebody that's just trying to take somebody's money?
I
Ooh.
feel like I feel like you feel that in your gut. I feel like you feel that. Like
It's an intuition, of course.
it's
I feel like,
intuition. I think it's
Yeah.
intuition.
yeah, you're gonna be like, trust me, your ancestors gonna tell you
You
your
know when
ears.
somebody
Like,
trying to play you.
you
Hmm.
know?
For instance, it's funny. There was this reader that came up on my feed. Like last night, I was on TikTok. She came up on my feed or whatever, and she was reading. I was like, "This sound rehearsed. I'm not fucking with it." And like,
I'm sorry.
no, like I'm not fucking with this. Like you're just like you're literally just like this sounds rehearsed. Like you watched a
Yeah.
few people, and like you put something together. Like no, that's not cool either.
I don't mean to bypass my brother's question, but I'm really Akina got me curious on what she was gonna say about the answer, who like the role
Oh, for
model.
me, it was for me. I mean, I always try to because you guys know I began a little DMX sometimes, so I have to tap in. Um, but it's really hard. I think these days it's harder to bring it out of me because especially when I know I have facts. But for me, I am very much obsessed with like the African Orisa. So I would say like Ifa,
Oh,
like
okay, okay.
Akua said.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would say there's like two or three. It'd be for me. I think the top one who I feel like I'm the most like is Oshun. I
Oh
feel like
shoot,
I feel like
yes,
Oshun is me and I am her,
yes.
but I'm trying to not take the head on because she's also heavily misunderstood, and I don't want to be like a man eater. So it's Oshun, Yemaya with the water because I do feel like she's just all knowing of like earth and mother and children. And then I like Hinduism. I have a fascination with Hinduism, so I'd probably go anywhere between Ganesh and Lakshmi. Lakshmi is about money and just how to get all prosperity,
Love
and
Lakshmi.
prosperity and abundance. Yeah, prosperity and abundance doesn't just mean green and money. It just means like love, your community, your like learning, just acquiring,
Nice.
yeah, just acquiring different things, like an abundant of life, So my top probably be Oshun. And then God is like,
Amen.
God is
Yes.
really is the first one because how he got to move and how he be moving above all the yeah. Woo!
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Like
indeed.
like real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to the high priestess. She's watching right now. Shout out to you. Love you. Thank you for tuning in. My mom is watching, so shout out to my mom.
Oh,
I'm like, what? I'm like, what you
hi,
Ay,
saying?
Look,
Like,
yeah.
Simon the Loop.
I'm over here like, I'm like, what you talking about?
Simon the
I
Loop.
was
Mom.
like,
Simon.
I never
Oh,
heard that name.
Yes.
I,
Hi,
wa-
Grandma.
I also want to give a shout out to another. He's graduated recently from High Priestess. My boy Carlos Loso Mariano.
What's up,
Papa,
Carlos?
Carlos.
Yes,
¿Qué
indeed.
lo
Yes, indeed.
que?
Wilfredo Mariano. Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Oh,
my mom, man. I would say my role model is God, like Akina said. Number one always will be
Yeah,
the number
God.
one. And from birth, since I was in my mother's belly, like my mom, like
Oh,
All of
yes,
us. All of us. We
yes.
had something going on.
God. Right.
me,
Oh,
Me like
mama.
yeah, I just got dropped as a baby, so.
You say you got dropped as oh my
Come on,
God.
bro.
Samia,
Samuel.
Nandy,
I
I would love
cannot.
to hear your response, Nandy. Your answer.
Dun, dun,
Is Nandy
dun.
there?
Yeah, I think she is. Oh, she froze. She's not here.
Oh man.
No.
Wait, who else? Somebody's trying to join.
Oh,
But
who
who
is it?
else?
Who?
Ooh,
Who is it?
I don't know. Like it
Samuel,
says
where
some.
did you go? Because I don't even see Samuel either.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
like
see Samia. Just add the person, bro.
yeah, but okay, like, but it doesn't.
What happened to Nandy?
It says the room is full. Somebody's trying to join. Dun, dun,
Then
dun. I
Oh,
want.
maybe it's Nandy. Maybe Nandy's trying to get back in.
Yeah, yeah.
no, but
There,
I
She's
thought
there
you
we
supposed.
said
go.
you could be 7 people.
Yeah, like Nandi. I don't know if you could hear us, Nandi. You're gonna have to get out and come back. Oh, okay, she did already. All right, good.
Okay.
Yeah, so shout out everybody that's tuned in, that's been watching us. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias a todas las personas que están activados aquí con nosotros viendo este episodio. Muchas gracias. Este es un episodio especial. Thank you so much. This is a very special episode. It's spirituality, energy. It's a very positive episode. If you know about this, then that's awesome. If you don't, then you're learning something new. And that's what leads to growth, learning. So I got one more question for all of you real quick. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when somebody, let's say you dating somebody, right, and that person doesn't believe in what you believe, how do you go about it?
that's
I'm
a
no
really
longer
good
going about
question,
it. I'm no
Samsation.
longer going about it. That's
That's a really good. That's a
that's
really
where I
good question,
stand now.
Samsation. But I will say I agree with Kina because it's like if you're not open to it, you're not willing, then that means you not getting the whole of me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
No.
part of me. Like like it's
Been
just
there, done that. If you don't walk with, if I've been there, done that. I tried to lead a horse to water. They fake drank it because they were just trying to get close, but that's not really who they was. So I would say if the man is not delivered by God Himself, like I will know in my
Mhm.
gut that He was made for me. And like I get emotional because I just know when this person is presented in front of me, it's because God took His time with him, and I won't have to
Exactly.
teach him anything. He'll be a teacher to me. That part.
Amen. I agree, Akina. I love that. Yes.
Carlos
No.
said patience and education. That's a good
Mm.
factor there.
I like that.
I would say a veces hay que dejarles que la vida la enseñe. You gotta let them go through life so they can learn.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are very stubborn and whatnot. So
It could be
sometimes
very
from trying,
different cultures.
It's
sometimes yeah,
hard.
that too of culture as well. But from trying to have that person see the way, it could also like make you fall as well. So at one
Mm-hmm.
point you gotta say, you know what? I gave this person that advice, ese consejo, y ahí lo dejo. If
Mm-hmm.
they want to take it, cool. If not, cool. Let them bump their head at the end of the road. They're gonna learn one way or the other.
That's how I see it. That's how I see it.
Exactly. Miss
Yeah,
Amen.
Samia?
Amen to that.
kind of. I feel like it's challenging because I feel like in more like ancient times we would be dating and dealing with people from within our own culture. So it wouldn't make it so challenging. We wouldn't have to go through these hardships that we go through now because we're, all over the place with dating and liking people. But
Mm-hmm.
uh it makes it much harder when you're dealing with someone who doesn't believe what you believe. But I feel like it's a possibility it can work as long as they don't look down on your practices. Then there is room for growth. Like if they can accept what you're doing and they don't feel any way towards it, then it's a possibility that y'all can still grow together. But if they're looking down on you like, oh, why you doing that? What does that mean? Oh, that's evil. Then it's not gonna work. You might as well cut the
Yeah.
cord.
Mm-hmm.
We
I
also
had someone say to me directly, like, "Oh, you think because you use your candles and you use some songs book that you better than me?" And I was like, "What? Maybe you should use it. It might help your life." Because
I
I said, "Look
Oh,
at my
that's
life
Uncle
compared to yours."
Willie. I'm sorry.
That's what I said, Safi.
Oh my
that
God. I said Carlos. Like I'm sorry, y'all. Go ahead.
that That's honestly what he said is so true. We also have to remember a lot of people nowadays don't truly know where they come from, and traditions have been lost over time. I agree.
It's
I
Mhm.
true.
definitely agree.
It's
Yes, sir.
true.
Yes,
But you
sir.
know what? I hear all that, but there's like Google. There's also just finding self, right? Even if you don't know, I mean, we have the beauty of knowing exactly where we come from, right? But if you don't know exactly where you come from, then dig deep in who you are, yourself. What maybe ask your parents maybe where they come from. If you can't get that far, dig deep into who you are. Find who you are
They,
inside. Because there's people
I
who
Remember
there's
agree.
people
who
who are
you are.
adopted, there's people who are orphans who never will know their history, but they still
Yes.
walking
Yeah.
around like they got some sense and they connected to God.
Yep.
So I don't take it easy on just anybody. There's too many resources in the world. You don't have to walk around being ignorant and a bad person. It's a choice at this
It's true.
point.
I agree.
Hmm.
Or they could
Yeah,
just
I
go
do
to
agree.
one, two,
Preach.
three, and me. What's the name of that? When you find
Oh, I
your
ain't doing
back,
that.
one,
I
one,
ain't
two,
doing
three, and
that
me,
now.
right?
That I ain't doing that. Yeah, the 23 and me. That I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
gonna do.
23 and me.
They ain't finna have my
I'm
DNA.
sorry.
I
No,
know,
Me
that
right?
walking around in 10 years. Hell no. I think not.
Facts. Facts. Facts.
no, that's true,
Akita,
Akita.
you're hilarious.
I think not, y'all.
Oh, this is
especially
so nice.
especially
Oh
for
my
black
goodness.
especially for black people because we produce a special thing called melanin. So
Yeah,
we are in high demand in the European countries.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
No.
movie was that? Get Out, right? Get Out.
Yeah, for real. That's real, Tia. All this sex trafficking and organs.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Especially
it go back
people.
to Henrietta Lacks. Read the story, do the research of Henrietta Lacks. They took that lady's whole
Um.
DNA
So.
and made a whole bunch of medications off of it, and her family's still fighting to get. I think in the 90s or the early 2000s they finally got some money for it.
Oh
Whew.
man. So.
So no,
It's,
23andMe will not have my DNA.
so it's Black History Month, right? Shout out to Black
Oof.
History Month,
Facts.
right?
Black History Month.
Woo!
Hey.
Whoop,
But
whoop.
I did get a private message. It's not in the comments, right? It's something I couldn't answer my own. I'm kind of curious. Does
Mhm.
white people have ancestors like we do?
Oof. That's a good question.
Definitely.
I think they do. I think everybody does.
I think
Yeah.
yeah. I think they
I
might.
think they do. I just don't think they have a culture or tradition that necessarily
That's
represents it like the way we would as
we do.
Garifunas or
Yeah,
any other group for that matter.
or like Indians. Yeah, I think
See,
I
Let
think
alone how to
they never
tap
had to. They
into
never had
it.
to.
Like they look at us with drums and our clothing like, what's
Amen.
that? So how would they even know how to like tap into theirs?
Oof.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. Hell yeah. Oh Lord. And
yeah.
one thing personally that like I feel that bothers me is like when people try to use like religion or the spiritualism as an
Hmm.
excuse to being a piece of crap human being. uh Sometimes people be like, oh, I haven't moved out of my brother's house because God haven't told me to do so yet.
I'm weak.
You know what, Samia?
like, like honestly,
Why
like
is he like
the real
this?
Kim said, you know what?
Yeah, it's a form of
You know
escapism.
what?
People can
like
use it
That's
like
what I was
that.
gonna say. It's escapism.
like
Hmm.
like honestly, I believe in this 'cause like I said, I grew up in this, but also I'm one of those people where like I could see through the bullshit when you're trying to use some outlet to
Right.
Yeah.
hide that you're a piece of crap. So you're not gonna come and tell me, oh, I feel like crap today because my zodiac sign said in a book that I should feel like crap today. Like not like that either. That's going
No, they
way too far.
weaponize it. You saying they weaponize it? They weaponize it, and
Yeah,
we don't like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Or saying, oh, you're a Libra, so you be lying. Stupid nonsense like that. I feel like that's not
Well,
what the zodiac is about.
I don't like when they be saying because I'm an Aries, I want to fight. I don't want to fight, y'all. I just want everybody to know that I don't like to fight, but I'll get buck if I have to. See, and I also want let me make a disclaimer on here. It is love and light, but don't ever think just because it's love and light that you will not be told where to go. Okay?
Right.
Because I think
Right.
people get it very confused. You're supposed to be loving my I am, but you're testing me and you are getting on my nerves. Therefore, I have a certain level where I'm gonna have to show you how I don't give a fuck just a little bit, and then I'm gonna pray about it because God knows my heart.
Girl,
But
as
just
above,
don't.
so below. Remember, as above, so below. As high as you
Yes.
could be, it's as low as you can get.
Okay. So please don't be testing people. Don't be testing us. I literally just made posts about this yesterday. I said y'all be messing with the wrong people, not knowing how heavily protected they be. Stop doing that. Stop. I'm warning you. Stop messing with people who are protected and are 10 toes down. Sometimes they don't even gotta do nothing. They don't even gotta do no candles. They don't even gotta read no psalms. It just walks with them.
It's facts.
And then you be
Facts.
messing with them. Be careful. Cause I bet you 9 times out of 10, it's gonna come back.
But that exactly, that's how we let karma deal with them. It's not our job to enforce revenge. Let
No,
the
I had to
karmic
learn
law
that.
deal
I
with
had
it
to
because it's
learn
gonna
that.
be dealt. We don't have to see it like we want that satisfaction to see like haha, good for you, but God gonna take care of them because God don't play about you.
And you know what? When you really connected to, it finds you. You know, if you be minding your business and somehow you find out what's going on, I don't even care what's going on at this point. So it's just like, just stop because I was saying that in my live, I mean in my readings yesterday, I was telling in my IG stories, like, yo, like in a lot of my readings that I do, yo, people be so heavily protected. All they gotta do is think about it. So stop testing people. Stop testing the divine. Stop testing the collective. It's not good.
Hey, Prima, excuse me for a second. Sorry, and thank you, Prima. But Miss Akua is about to leave us, so I
Oh,
want to say, give her proper departure and thank her for joining us today. I really appreciate it. We all
yeah.
do. Your presence was amazing, beautiful. Your energy is so out of this world. So thank you so much for being part of this
Yeah.
episode.
Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. I feel honored to have been able to share space with
Oh.
y'all. Y'all are such a spiritual, just a beautiful family. And y'all are
Oh,
setting an
thank
amazing
you.
example. And I just pray that you all continue to be blessed, guided, and protected. And I look forward to joining you all again in the future.
Yes.
Yay!
Amen. Bless
I'll be
you. Bless
Amen.
visiting
you.
you.
Bless
Blessed.
you.
And Miss Akua, before you go, can you tell people one more time about your business one last time?
The store is called Avatar Essentials, and you can find us on Facebook. And my I guess my business also is the return of the goddess.com. And so yeah.
Then would you happen to have Instagram or just Facebook?
I have Instagram. On Instagram I am at AKUA Divine One. And on Facebook I'm on there as AKUA Divine.
Awesome. Okay, Miss Akua, thank you again. And
Nice to meet you, Aqua.
Nice to meet you. I'll
Stay
talk to you
blessed.
again.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
I actually gotta go too, y'all.
What? Where
so we
Yes.
so we're gonna probably call it we're gonna call it
Oh
so we
man, okay. I even got my wine and everything. Like
Let me get
oh
some of that.
so like my cousin Katie as well, aka Nandy. He's also dipping. So thank you for joining us today. It's always appreciated. You're
I wish
awesome.
I could have been here for more time. I'm looking for.
we got
it's okay, Nanny. What matters that you got here, girl.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you
Nandy, I'm gonna see you soon. I'm
for
gonna come
having me.
visit
Thank you for
soon.
bringing all the out together. We always see you again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, prima. Nos vemos.
Love y'all. Samsation, we need another this
Uh,
Spanish version.
ah?
We need another of this, but like Spanish version.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Akina, I miss you, prima.
right. I'll be at the same place. I'll just be taking
I know. We just live so far
porn.
apart.
I know.
You know what? It's really been like it's just been like a journey of self.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly. But I got your number, so I'll definitely hit you up, Lee. We gotta talk.
hit me, girl. I'll be here. I'll be here being a mama and making these calls,
Oh.
doing what I do best.
Yes. Thank you so much, Samsation, for having us, for having this specific topic.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be on it as well, bro. You know?
You feel seen and heard, right? Seen,
Yeah,
heard, like
yeah,
I'm glad
yeah.
you made it, sis. I'm glad you made it.
Thank you,
And,
man. It was well needed. It was well needed.
and shout out to my bro KHINO G for also making this episode happen. He's the one that introduced
yeah.
us to Miss AKUA Divine. Awesome lady. This was a beautiful episode. I enjoyed every minute of it. Uh, for the most part. uh, but yeah, everybody again tune into the next episode next week. And by the way, don't forget this Saturday, February 10th, Honduras meets Jamaica and Belize DJ Fest. It's gonna be
That's
one
the
of the
movie.
it's gonna be the latest party in Houston, Texas. Don't let
Yes,
nobody
sir.
tell you otherwise, because you already know how GME does. We bring the vibes, baby.
Woo! You sabes wagwan. You see how I put those three together? You sabes wagwan.
Hey,
That was
tú sabes wagwan. Hey, I'm gonna put that
Faltó
in the chat.
Garifuna there, bro. Yes.
damn, I don't even know what garifuna.
Gotta make
Gabayo,
Higate.
Gabayo Funati.
Wow.
gotta
Right.
gotta making.
Oh my god. I love ya, man.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you. Everybody that tuned in, muchas gracias, Carlos, Mariano. Thank you so much for being with us all the way through the ending. Next week, I'm gonna tell you what the episode will be. Next week episodes will be. Haven't thought about it yet.
That week. Oh
No.
my god.
What? Yeah,
No.
I'm over
We'll,
here.
we'll think about it, Sam. We'll think about it.
All right, guys. Thank you again to my co-host KHINO G, my co-host Kiki with the Spirits, and my special co-host Precious Amor a un Zafiro.
Yeah.
and
I would
again,
do better.
and again, Katie and Miss Divine. Thank you so much. You're awesome. And have a great night, everybody. This was another episode. Let's talk about it. No cap, because we don't be capping. All right.
Yep, you already know.
KHINO G, wanna say one last thing, KHINO G, before we go?
Hey, man. Good vibes only this weekend. You know, if you got any weapons, leave that at home. You know, if you got issues with your baby daddy or whatever, or your girl, leave that outside because we're going to dance. We're going to have a good time.
Woo.
Problems, no issues.
Y otra
February
cosa.
10th. February 10th, we're going to be live and lit.
Y otra cosa. Something that my brother Samsation and I, when we used to go on live all the time. Hey, me, buying Setia. Don't come, you know, make sure y'all do it real good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Funny, man.
Akina.
Hey, one more thing too. Know how to handle your liquor too if y'all drink out there. And for y'all smokers, be careful with that fentanyl in that thing or
Yes.
that
Yeah.
stuff y'all put on there, man. Get right. You know, get right so we can have a good time. All right.
I don't even smoke like that.
Miss Kiki with the Spirits.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, last words.
Oh, you know, no, just live life, you know. Mind the business that pays you. And don't
Period.
don't come back. Okay?
Period.
We're gonna flip that down. So we gonna put
Wait,
that
I gotta do it. Akina.
Yep.
Hey.
Okay. Wait.
No.
Yep, exactly.
All right, guys.
I love ya, man.
Love you
I
guys.
love
If
you so
anybody needs
much.
a reading, donation based, send me a DM, Badass Tarot. Just go to my Instagram and go from there. Love you guys.
There
Okay.
you go. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Stay classy, San Diego.